The following program is rated GE. It is suitable for general family viewing.
Generally, we can all get up in the morning and decide to plan a simple occasion. From baby showers to birthdays and even get-togethers. For Monica Etemesi, her passion for planning events led her to start her event planning business. She talks to us on why she decided on this path and what it takes to be a good event planner.
My name is Monica Etemesi, an events planner. I run a company called Pritt Events Limited. I'm the CEO and the founder of the company. So basically that's what I do. I'm an events planner. I really have a lot of passion in events, just trying to change the ordinary, trying to bring new things in the events industry. So we try to diversify. And so I'll say it's mostly about passion. What it involves being an events planner is, first of all, what we do, let me just start by saying, we create ideas for people. We do event conceptualization. We draft sketches of how events would be. So basically, being an events planner requires you to be a person who has a lot of content creation. Like when it comes to sketching the flow of events, supposing it's, for example, a corporate event, a client would come and tell you, I want to launch something. So you really design the layout from start to finish. So it's about coming up with an idea, coming up with a draft and showing the client that this is what it involves, and then now actualizing it, which is now the main event.
When we began the business, we had small events, small showers, small birthdays, but over the years, we were able to be contracted to do different kind of events. And I can say part of our success is being able to tap into the corporate market, as well as being able to do weddings. And I can proudly say that we've been able to handle 1,000 pax wedding, and that's not a small feat for an events company for 3 years.
I've been in the business for 3 years now, and more or less I'd say we've done it for 2 years. Because of COVID, it really affected our industry. But the company was registered in 2019. First of all, it started as, I think growing up, I used to really like going to events, functions, organizing things. So I decided, if it's something I like, why not do it as a business? Something that would bring food to my table. And I'd been employed for a while, and I felt like, okay, instead of just investing too much time in growing someone else's business, why can't I do what I like and let it be my daily bread or something? So that's what inspired me to get into events. You need to be a very patient person. You need to be very, you don't have to need to be a temperamental person. You need to really be someone who is patient, because there's a lot of pressure. So when you decide when you're not a patient person, you can't sail through in the industry. There's a lot of, our industry is deadline oriented. Like you can't redo it. For example, a client tells you, my event is on 5th. There's no 4th, there's no 6th. It has to be on 5th. So, and most of the time you get events whereby, how do I put it? Like a client gives you short notice. And since it's business, you can't say no, so you take it up. But there's a lot of pressure, a lot of sleepless nights, a lot of tears, because sometimes there are things that are not under your control. So I'd say the greatest thing you need to have as an event planner is a lot of patience. Mostly love to do, right now we are doing all kind of events, from corporate to social to individual, all kind of events. So I wouldn't say we've really segregated ourselves to a specific clientele. So right now we do we cover all the way from corporate to social events. So we don't have a preference. But I think sometimes people always tend to think like you're targeting the high end in society and all those, but mostly it's not the case. Because as I'd said earlier, we are trying to make our events be a bit different from the normal. You know, kitambo, people would be like, just bring a tent and chairs and you have an event. But we're trying to create a safe space, a more comfortable place, a more lax place for people to hold their event. So we fit into the client's budget. So whatever your budget is, we can be able to provide something that works for you. We have 2 different packages. The first package is where a client comes and tells us, I have everything. I just need you to come and do maybe the deco bit for me. I have a caterer, I have a baker, I have all these people, sound, lighting. You just come and do like either oversee. So you just come and help them coordinate the day of the event. But there are also those clients who know nothing. I just want to have an event, but I don't know anything. I don't know anyone. I don't know how it happens. So we also do the venue search for them. So we'd ask them, what is your preferred location? So somebody would say, for example, Thika Road. So we'll scout for venues along Thika Road and then advise them. We do site visit to those venues with the client until the client picks what works for them.
Just like any scheduled planning, clients may fail you as a planner, and you will have to come up with solutions as fast as possible to curb these problems.
Our policies when it comes to refund is, okay, let me give you a case study. For corporates, we don't charge anything because mostly you'll find when corporates cancel their events, they just reschedule it to another date. So we don't actually ask them to pay us anything, or we don't cut anything if they had paid the deposit already. But you find for most social clients, we do a 70% refund if you cancel like a month to the event. Because the reason why we do that is because sometimes you find once we take a job, let's say for example today, we've decided this is the job we are doing, we're not going to take any other job. So if you cancel on us and yet we had already told other clients that no, we are fully booked for that day, it's highly inconveniencing to us. So we always do a 70% refund if you had paid already, but if you're rescheduling a date, we don't charge anything. Yeah, I'll keep going back to the COVID-19 pandemic. You've planned everything. Sometimes, in fact, the day when the president was announcing that, no social gatherings, no events, we had events scheduled for that particular Saturday. And it's very last minute. But as I said, it's not out of something that can be controlled. We've never had an incident where we've had to cancel because of a controlled thing. Like the client just comes up and say, I don't want to have the event, so we have to cancel. No, we also don't cancel on our clients. For example, we've been discussing and talking through your events, and then it gets to a time and we just tell you, no, we can't deliver. No, it has never happened before. But for COVID, we had to do a lot of last-minute cancellation, which was understandable for everyone and everybody. Yeah. So many times, especially after you see you're reviewing, like you're doing a postmortem of the event and you're like, wow, so kumbe we would have done this here, we would have put this here instead of here. But sometimes we don't beat ourselves too much, especially if you're working with events which are short notice. And corporates really like doing that because they would call you and tell you, we have an event on Friday, we want ABCD. So you find the timeline needed to plan the event is very short. So you have to actually try and do a million things in one day. So after that you realize, oh, I didn't do this. I would have advised the client to do this, but I didn't. But as I said, we don't beat ourselves too much. We just hope that now in the next event, we implement that which we feel like we had not done to make our events better and better. It's all about growth. When I look at the kind of work we do now and what we used to do when we started, honestly, I would say there's a lot of growth.
All events come with different challenges because no event is the same from the previous event. So in terms of challenge, it could be as a result of maybe working with different kinds of suppliers, because there are certain events whereby you don't need to work with so many suppliers. It could just be working with 1 or 2 suppliers. But the events whereby we have to work with at least 7 to 10 suppliers. So you find that trying to get to an understanding whereby you can come to a common agreement with the 7 to 10 suppliers, sometimes it becomes a challenge. But in everything, for you to measure success, you have to work your way around and be able to solve the challenge.
Challenges that we deal with in the industry, a lot of dealing with very stubborn suppliers. Our industry is all about, because when you're planning, we deal with a lot of suppliers, from sourcing for water, for food, for lights, for everything else. So you find sometimes you deal with very uncooperative suppliers. The suppliers that we work with, most of them are also event planners like me. So you will find like for us, our main strength is in planning and also offering deco and furniture. So you'll find we do like tents, we'll do chairs, we'll do flowers, we'll do balloon work, we'll do a lot of branding and design. But things like lighting, we have to outsource. Things like catering, we outsource. Things like food, if somebody wants a bar service, those things we outsource. So when you're planning an event and a client tells you, I need a bar, I need a cake station, I need a caterer, I need all those things, you have to work with so many suppliers. So some of them are not honest. You'll tell someone, be on site by 10. Someone would be like, I have a job. Why would I prioritize them over my own job? You get, so you find most of the time you disappoint your clients. Either the person comes in late. Sometimes you get with people who give you substandard things. You've paid, for example, for something worth 100,000 and somebody delivers something worth 50,000. So those are some of the challenges that we face, but we've tried to work on them by having trusted suppliers that we know we can rely on. Those suppliers you can call at night and tell them, I need something set up tomorrow by 8, and they'll be at the venue setting up. So it is still something we are still working on, but for now I would say at least 80% of the suppliers we work with are reliable. Sometimes we tell the client, like, okay, yes, you had, that is the first thing. You'll find clients who are willing to adjust their budget. For example, a client comes and tells you, I have 100 guests and my budget is 200,000. And then when you come and do the math behind it, you come and realize, oh, I actually underquoted. What we do, the first thing is we tell the client, like, this is what we had discussed, but from what you want, the budget is going to be a bit higher. Most clients will be flexible. Others will be like, okay, what is the alternative? For example, I wanted Shavari seats for my wedding, and now you're telling me the budget. So we offer a bit of a subsidized budget. Like, we give you quality, but we try and, change. For example, instead of maybe using Jabera flowers, we'd go and use roses, which at the end of the day, it achieves the same thing, but at a cheaper cost. We've done up to 4-5 events in a day. So what we normally do is we have a team. So that's where delegation comes in. So you'll find everybody is given an account or a client to handle. For example, let's say we have 3 weddings and 2 corporate events or a birthday or something else. So we'll assign everyone an event. So we'd give, like, let's say, Monica, you handle this wedding. Levina, you'll handle this corporate event. Karen, you'll handle this. Corneli, handle this. And everyone plans. But that is only applicable if we are doing events that we've had an ample time planning. We cannot do 3 or 4 events with short-term planning, because at the end of the day, you might end up missing some. But we have staff that we work with. And so when the work is a lot, we really delegate a lot. So as an in-house Pritt events, we're running it as 2 people, but we have a staff of like 13 people who work under us. So yeah, more or less it becomes manageable.
You are watching TV47, the home of Untold Stories.
Mimi sipendi, unapanguza floor. Hiyo dust uache hapa kwa meza. Clean up. Kanyajui, this selector yako, utengeneze sandwich zako, uachane na sandwich za boss.
Selector. The difference is in the taste.
Go big and live stream Premier League, La Liga, major marathons and more from SuperSport plus the biggest Maisha Magic series, blockbusters and kids shows. Go big for less and get Showmax Pro Mobile with 30 gigs telecom data included. That's up to 10 hours a day of the best sport, series, movies and kids shows. Watch for just 1,200 Kenya shillings per month with the Showmax Pro Mobile subscription and 30 gigs telecom data at one great price. To sign up, dial *544# or go to showmax.com/telecom.
You are watching TV47, the home of untold stories.
Event planning has opened so many doors for us, because when we started, we just used to do for friends and for small circles, but over the years it has opened us into a world of corporates. We've been able to interact with different kinds of corporates. We've been able to network with different kinds of people. So in as much as our business grew, our corporate or our network was also grew or rose as a result of this business. Yeah.
You know, as a startup, I'd say a startup because we've not still hit 5 years yet. But there are those challenges that come with being a startup company. You're trying to fight for recognition, brand recognition amidst very, very big brands. So right now, I'd say the milestone we've got, it's like we've achieved. Our name is out there, publicity-wise. People know when you talk to someone about Pritt events, they'll be like, oh yeah, I know Pritt events. And I'd say our network has really, really grown. These days at first we used to do events just for friends, because I trust Monica, she's my friend, I'll give her business. But these days we get calls from strangers, sometimes up to a point where you have to say, sorry, we're fully booked. It's something we really, really looked forward to, and we've actually achieved. So we've really grown our inventory, because now, you know, it comes with also purchasing stuff. It's a milestone, I'd say. We've grown our inventory, we've grown our client base. So yeah, it's something to be proud of. I like planning weddings a lot, because there's so much work that goes into it, so much craft that goes into it, trying to make it different from another. Because everyone would want their events to be unique. Everyone would want something different from the other. So it takes a lot of research. It's you have to research. You have to watch a lot of inspiration. You have to watch what other event people are doing and trying to do something that will make you stand out. So for me, I'd say weddings are my favorite, because it also gives you a lot of exposure. You get to meet different vendors, different suppliers. But corporate functions are the easiest to plan, because most corporate functions don't have emotions attached to it. You know, weddings have a lot of emotion attached to it, because once you mess up a client for a wedding, there is no other day where they get to do this again. It's then and then. So you have to be very careful when you're doing weddings. Corporate events are very simple. They're not they don't give you a lot of headache like weddings. Most of our packages are actually custom made. And actually, by the way, we get that question a lot, because someone will just DM you and be like, how much is a wedding? But you see, it is so broad. So all our packages are actually custom made. So you'll come and I'll ask you, the normal questions we ask someone is like, how many people are you intending? Like, what is your guest list? So someone will tell you, my guest list is 200. So from 200, we can be able to tailor-make a quotation that suits you. By 200, which means we have to bring 200 chairs, we have to bring 20 tables if each table is sitting 10, we have to bring tents that accommodate 200. So every quotation for us is tailor-made. It's actually custom-made. So I'll ask you for your venue. One person might be wedding in Muthaiga, another one is wedding in Parklands. Of course, the transportation cost will be different because, as I said, most of our operations, we do it around Parklands. Our offices are in Parklands. So I wouldn't charge you the same way I'm charging someone in Muthaiga. So when you come, I'll ask you for the number of people, where is your venue, what type of event do you want. I'd give you an array of the different kind of chairs we have, the different tents we have. Then you'd choose. After you've chosen everything, then you can be able to come up with a quotation that actually suits you. So for now, we are actually more on corporate events, weddings, baby showers, birthdays, graduation parties. Anything that just brings a gathering together, we are there for it.
They say failing to plan is planning to fail. And in event planning, it is all about satisfying the client's needs. For this is where your next referral may come from.
Client is king in most cases. You know, one thing I realized about our clients, you always accept, like you don't argue with them. Like, for example, a client, it's very difficult, they don't like anything you've brought, they are shouting all over the place. Just try and, just show them first of all they're right. You know, you're the client and whatever you want is right. Do that, and then most of the time when you give the client the sensation that they're more powerful, that they're king, most of them actually just always tone down and they're fine. But the moment you start arguing, trying to show them, I'm the event planner, you're not, I'm the guru, you're not, most of the time it becomes a temperamental issue where you start fighting about it, arguing about it. So most of the time, go with what the client wants. They prefer this, do it. So long as it brings the beauty out of the event, so long as the colors are matching, they're rhyming, they're marrying nicely, then it's fine. So always show them that they're king, and actually I think for me that works. If we can handle, fine. If we cannot handle, no, we don't stress about it. For example, even right now, the way we've come here, you realize, oh, like my client was telling me, you know, because of the trees, things are falling, we need a tent. But you see, the logistics behind it is now we have to go all the way because our stores are in Parklands. So we have to go again now, and you'll find the client is not maybe a bit flexible because you'll tell them, I'll go get the tent for you, but you have to pay for transport. For example, now it would be like 10,000 going to get the tent and bring it. It doesn't make sense. And as I was telling her there, since this event is a 1 hour event, we don't really need to stress about it. I'd consider it wastage, you know, bringing a tent. And so what we've decided, we'll just move the tables from the shed where the trees are falling and move it to the other side. So if it's something like that, you see, and we've told her and she's like, oh, it's fine, it makes sense. Because you're also trying to make an economic kind of sense to them. There's no point bringing one tent and it's going to cost you 10,000 if there's something else we can do. Most of our packages are actually custom made. And actually, by the way, we get that question a lot because someone will just DM you and be like, how much is a wedding? But you see, it is so broad. So all our packages are actually custom made. So you'll come and I'll ask you, the normal questions we ask someone is like, how many people are you intending? Like, what is your guest list? So someone will tell you, my guest list is 200. So from 200, we can be able to tailor-make a quotation that suits you. By 200, which means we have to bring 200 chairs, we have to bring 20 tables if each table is sitting 10, we have to bring tents that accommodate 200. So every quotation for us is tailor-made. It's actually custom-made. So I'll ask you for your venue. One person might be wedding in Muthaiga, another one is wedding in Parklands. Of course, the transportation cost will be different because, as I said, most of our operations, we do it around Parklands. Our offices are in Parklands. So I wouldn't charge you the same way I'm charging someone in Muthaiga. So when you come, I'll ask you for the number of people, where is your venue, what type of event do you want. I'd give you an array of the different kind of chairs we have, the different tents we have. Then you'd choose. After you've chosen everything, then you can be able to come up with a quotation that actually suits you. So for now, we are actually more on corporate events, weddings, baby showers, birthdays, graduation parties. Anything that just brings a gathering together, we are there for it. First of all, I'll say it's a passion-driven industry because you'd give up. If you don't have passion for it, you'll do it the first time, the second time, then you'll give up. And also don't go for the money. I know money is a motivating factor, but don't go for the money. Sometimes we go into our pockets and give a client something, even if they've not paid for, because we know somebody who can be able to pay for that event is actually attending your event. They'll see and they'll like, and you'll quote for them and they'll pay. So have passion. If you don't have passion for events, you can't do events. You'll do the first time, you'll give up, because most of it's hectic. It's hectic. Not you get tired, not even physically alone, emotionally. It's financially draining when you're starting, because most of the time you'd start and you don't have anything. So you have to either keep sub-hiring things, or it's also very huge capital intense. Like you need a lot of money to start. So first of all, we started as planners, but now we have started acquiring our own things. So have passion. Don't be led by money, because build your name first and then money will come later. That's fine. So that is what I'd advise someone who wants to come into this event industry. So long as you have passion about something, you never give up. You don't give up, because every time you want to quit, you'll be like, I need to remember why I started. Most of the times we've decided, you know what, let's give ourselves a 6-month break, try and re-strategize about it, then come back with better plans. Then we realize, okay, but we'll have really lost a lot in that 6 months. When you want to give up, someone calls you and they'll be like, you did this event for my friend and I was so happy. I want you to do. So it motivates you. You feel like, so it was really nice. Let me try it again. Personally, as I said, events is a deadline-oriented kind of field. And for me, success is when you do an event and a client comes and tells you, wow, things happen, logistically, things always don't go as you planned. Sometimes there are things you don't even have control over. Sometimes you might even be coming to an event and a lorry breaks down and you have to be like 1 hour, 2 hours late. For me, success is the fact that after you've done the event, a client comes and tells you, wow, Monica, I really, really loved this. You guys, I'll keep referring you people. So for me, that is success. It doesn't matter what happened behind the scenes, all those logistics, all those sleepless nights. But when a client comes and tells you this was good work, for me, that is success. In this industry, I'd say that is good. I always tell my colleague Levina every time, in as much as we have stress, in as much as we sleep crying and doing all those things, we always have those nice photos to show. We always know that once we do this thing, there'll always be business. So like these days, I'd say we have so many businesses. At least every Saturdays we get bookings, every Sundays you get bookings. So for me, that is success. I always tell my friend Aluta, continue, like keep going, keep walking. It doesn't matter how, just keep walking. So long as you're moving. I always tell her, every time there's a disappointment or we've undergone a loss, I always tell her, Aluta, continue. And we've really lived by those words, literally. Irregardless of what happens, sometimes you get events that they don't happen the way you wanted. Sometimes you get disappointed the way you were asking. Sometimes you get difficult clients. Some clients become even abusive and all that. It really demotivates you. And that's why I'm saying have passion for it. Because you look back and you'll be like, okay, this one said I did a very shitty event or I did something very wrong. But someone somewhere is really applauding you. And you're like, I can't afford to disappoint all those people who are looking up to me. I get so many inquiries, so many people calling me and be like, they look at you as a role model. Sometimes and that's why I say, don't beat yourself too much. Because sometimes you beat yourself too much and there are people who are looking up to you. Things get really tough. Sometimes, as I was telling you, I like calling Levina my sister because we've become more like family. I don't hide anything from her. She doesn't hide anything from me because she's seen me at my lowest because of this events industry. I've seen her at her lowest because of what events